Make some noise.
So why do we work? We work for fulfillment, to achieve a mission, but we also work to earn money, to pay for things like our vacations. We pay for basic living needs like our housing and clothing, something that I love, shoes, but we also pay for things like food. So a few weeks ago, I was at the grocery store, and as I was checking out, I noticed that the guy in front of me had the same loaf of bread. It cost $2.99. And that got me to thinking that even though women earn less in this country than men, they still have to pay the same price for things like a loaf of bread. So across the board, women earn significantly less than their male counterparts. And for some women, it's pennies on the dollar, down to about 52 cents on the dollar compared to the non-Hispanic male white counterpart. So you might be thinking, well, that's because women go into low-wage jobs, like teaching. But the truth is, women who are teachers and women who are lawyers still suffer from this. They earn significantly less. And that is called the gender wage gap. So it's indisputable that there is a wage gap. The thing is, we have to be honest about it. And we have to say that's beside the point. So you might also be wondering, what are the contributing factors to this wage gap? Well, there are several things, such as access to child care and elder care, because women are the primary caretakers of their family members. But there are other things like education. And one of the big things that we rarely talk about is that women do not ask. You might think, well, why don't they ask? Well, when we talk about negotiating, people think it's a battle instead of a conversation. So a few years ago, I was sitting in my Jeep Liberty. I got a job offer, and I got that call. I was sitting there, my hands were gripping on the wheel, and the guy offers me the job. And internally, I started screaming. I said, "Oh my God, thank you for picking me and giving me the job." And then he said a few seconds later, "Are you there?" And I said, "Yes, I'll take it." Boom. Just like that, all of my negotiating power was gone away. So fast forward a few months later in the job, I learned that the guy who sat next to me on the other side of the cubicle, he was getting paid more than me. And to be quite honest with you, I was better at my job. He was my friend, but I was picking up his slack. So what I want to share with you next is a framework to negotiate. So when you get that call, or a woman in your life gets that call, give her this framework to use so that she can negotiate and so that she isn't leaving any money on the table. Because I truly believe that if a woman and a man do the same job, they should be paid the same. So this framework has 4 pillars, okay? And it's super easy for you to remember what it is. The first step in this framework is to prepare and package. So you want to prepare just like you would for a job interview. Get as much information as possible. Put together your skill set. Find out what people get paid in your industry and your geographic area for the work that you do. And then you have to practice. Because if you have never said $86,000 before, you think you sound like $86,000, but you actually sound like $86,000 with a question mark. And nobody's going to believe you're worth that much if you don't believe you're worth that much. So then comes the big moment. After all of this prep and practice, you have to ask. You're probably going to feel jitters. You might feel a little bit afraid what's going to happen, but you have to push through and ask. And then you decide. The offer is on the table. It's up to you to decide if you're going to accept it or walk away. And only you can decide that based on the factors that are most important to you. So when you have this opportunity and money is sitting on the table, are you going to ask? Or are you going to do like I did and just clam up and accept it? Because no matter how much money you earn, you're going to pay that same amount for a loaf of bread. So men, demand that the women in your lives negotiate. Again, it's not a battle. It's just a conversation. Will you ask?